Appreciate you joining us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, because you made a good choice today. Jimmy Burrow talks about Joe's injury, talks about the ramifications of that, talks about the rehab that Joe is facing, talks about the Cincinnati Bengals and Jake Browning playing the quarterback position as well as he played it against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and how he was with Jake's parents in Cincinnati in the suite at Paycor Stadium and playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of good stuff from Jimmy Burrow as always. I think you're going to really like the time you spend with him. Welcome once again to In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. As always, here we are in our outstanding studios, and we have an outstanding guest, as always, and that is none other than the great Jimmy Burrow. What's going on, sir? How you be?
Well, happy holidays. I'm doing good, and it's always fun to come on. So kind of looking forward to it the last couple of days.
There we go. It's Thanksgiving. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving, and here we go. I noticed your Christmas tree in the background there. The holiday spirit is already upon us all.
It is.
A lot to be thankful for. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, our family's been blessed over the years with a lot of different things, and continue to be, and we are thankful, and look forward to having some family around for Christmas.
So, Jimmy, what can you tell us about the status of Joe after successful surgery? Everybody has talked about how successful the surgery went. What's he looking at this point in time, do you think?
Well, we were with him at the surgery, and the doctor did think it went extremely well, and so it's a process to rehab and get it back, but all indications are he should be back for sure for next season. He, as people have seen from the game the other night, he's got a big bandage or wrap on it, and so rehab is somewhat limited now. So hopefully in the next few weeks he'll get that off, and the real rehab starts. So everybody's on board with the fact that it did go well, and it's never easy, regardless of what kind of surgery you have. But he's been there, done that, and so we're confident that his rehab is going to go well, and he'll be back next year, just like always.
He's amazing in regard to that. I mean, he's as tough-minded human being as I think I've ever met anyway. And he just, once he focuses, boy, he's going to get it done. So I'm sure it's a specialist in this particular area, and it's glad that the surgery was done so quickly, so successfully. And the thing that's amazing about him, though, is he's back right after the surgery's done. As soon as he can possibly be back in that locker room, he's back in there playing cards with the guys at the card table, interacting, leading, a factor in meetings. His football knowledge is second to none. He knows he can fill a role in that regard. Lou Anarumo has said it's unbelievable what he did for us at our defensive meetings, him going in there, giving a quarterback's perspective on things that he saw. He said he's one of a kind in that area. He really is. I mean, Joe is he's all team all the time, isn't he?
Yeah, he loves his teammates. Football and the Bengals, that's his life. That's his job. He takes it seriously, whether he's injured or not, and he knows to be around and be back in that locker room is important to him. And I think he knows that it's important to the coaches and the team and the organization too. So you'd have to be hard pressed to keep him out of there. Again, loves being around, loves football, loves interacting with with his team there, and uses it. He always finds it an opportunity in the process when he's been injured to do something to get better. And it sounds like that he's been sitting in on defensive meetings, which is a great thing. You can see how Lou and the coaches are game planning, attacking an offense, what they're looking for to get tipped off on offense, and I think it's a great opportunity for Joe to be in there and learn on the opposite side of the ball, and he enjoys those type things.
You know, I think one of his most impressive traits, he's got a bunch of traits that are impressive, but one of his most impressive is never gets too high, never gets too low.
Yeah.
During the course of a game, you know, when things are going exceptionally well, so even keel, and if things are going poorly, you know, it's like even keel there too, and going to handle adversity and overcome it and whatever. And it seems like that's exactly what he does in these type of situations. I mean, it's like, you know, a lot of people would go into this severe depression or whatever. Joe just is like, you know what? I'm going to deal with the hand I've been dealt, and I'm going to make the best of it. And I'm not going to get too high or too low about anything, life in general. I mean, the way he handles it all is very impressive.
Well, he would tell you that it's the NFL. You know, part of his job is to play quarterback, and the things that happen. It's a rough sport, and those things do happen. So instead of just sitting around and dwelling on the negative and woe is me, you know, he looks, as I said, for opportunities to get better and to be back with those guys. He does a few more things outside of football because, you know, we've all been injured or sick or whatever, and there is a tendency to get bored. So there's always things you look for to not be bored. And, you know, he has outside interests, not a lot, but he has a few, and that's why you see him at a UFC fight or something like that here and there, because he likes those kind of things, and it does get his mind a little off of the injury and the rehab and not being able to play, but you know, like you saw the other night, he's on the sidelines, he's interacting with Jake and the coaches, and he's got his iPad like he always does, and I think he takes that particular role that he's playing very seriously, and is willing to help any way he can.
Yeah, it's like, you know, he's an additional member of the coaching staff, you know, and it's organic. It's not like he's trying to trump, you know, anybody or anything else. He's like, he said, you know, if Jake's got a question or he's got anything to talk to me about, he can talk to me. Joe's not the type that pushes himself on anybody, but he's a resource that you got to take advantage of. And the whole thing's organic with the coaching staff and you know, Jake and everything. And it's, you know, my understanding is everything is like working out extremely well from a communication standpoint there.
And he's been on board with Jake from way back before he even got hurt. He said, you know, Jake's is very capable of being a starting quarterback. He's always told me that Jake prepares well. You know, he's got the team behind him, and even after the Pittsburgh game, which, you know, didn't look great, the weather. Joe was the first one to say, "Hey, the weather was horrible," so that played into some of the things that were happening that day. But even after that game, Joe just said, "Hey, I believe in Jake, and we as a team believe in Jake, and things are going to be okay."
Yeah, it's amazing the game that he had on Monday Night Football, you know, in front of the world. Like Zach Taylor said after the game, he basically lit the world up. He's one of 7 quarterbacks in NFL history that has completed 86% or more of his passes while throwing for 350 yards. Drew Brees, Rich Gannon did it. Chris Chandler did it, Vinny Testaverde, Peyton Manning, Jake Browning, and Lamar Jackson. That's pretty incredible when you think about, man, the second NFL start. It was one of those nights, you just, and I thought the whole thing was done so well. I thought the game plan was outstanding. I thought Zach his play calling was top shelf. And the execution of it was there. And when you have all those components meshing, man, you can have a special game.
Yeah, Jake certainly is getting a lot of the credit, and deservedly so. But he would be the first, as Joe always does when he has success, to credit the O-line and his teammates. And it was really an amazing accomplishment for the whole organization and Zach and his coaching staff. And because you go to Jacksonville and they're one of the better defenses, one of the better offenses, and you pretty much had control of that game or close to it for 4 quarters. Right. So everybody had a hand in it, and from the top of the organization all the way down, and it was fun to watch, and proud of those guys.
It's interesting. You like to have your quarterback, who's going to be the backup quarterback, have some common traits in terms of, from a player standpoint, but personality and all that is a bigger plus. And I think Jake has some of the same type of things. Jake is very even keel. He's not a guy that, the real big high, the real big low kind of guy. He seems to have the same type of makeup and disposition, and I know they get along great. And he can understand things at a very high level, like Joe. I mean, there's a lot of traits. That's the reason that they liked him as the backup quarterback. There's some commonality there in terms of, checking boxes, and don't have to junk your offense and go to another one completely. And he's been there through the evolution process of the offense. There are a lot of things there that that everybody was excited about, and it turned out to be the case.
I think that's one of the reasons Joe's has been confident in Jake from the start, because maybe there are a lot of similarities. Jake came from Washington, a winning program. I coached for 7 years at Washington State, went to graduate school at Washington State. So that's a big rival, but yep. They always do a great job there, have for years. And they prepare quarterbacks well, prepare a lot of guys to go in the NFL. So I think it's a credit to them that Jake is where he is. But if you're a backup, it's hard. So everything indicates to me that Jake's is listened. He's learned. He's practiced the way you would hope anybody does that's kind of waiting in the wings, and it shows on the field. And yeah, the first game wasn't great, but it was the first game. The weather was bad, and not to make excuses, but the improvement that Jake made to that second game is great. As I said, I think Joe, I think Zach and the team expected the growth that you saw, and just happened to be in front of millions on Monday night television, and in a game that right. We really needed to stay in the playoff hunt.
Yeah, I mean, the timing couldn't have been better. It was interesting during the Pittsburgh game. They showed multiple shots of you guys with Jake's parents, and I know there was some friends, and everybody was in in the suite that you have at Paycor. What was that like, interacting with the Brownings?
Well, that was one of the first things that Joe said. It was he wanted Jake's family to have access to our suite, because nice. We're really pretty filled up, but a lot of our friends and family from other parts of the country kind of bailed out after Joe got hurt. So that's what Joe wanted, and they were very appreciative. Robin and I said it was kind of nice to watch other people agonize, other family members agonize about the quarterback down on the field. But it was it was fun to be with them. It was fun to watch, and then we did see probably how we look at times. They were maybe a little more emotional than Robin and I are in that suite, but we're gonna do it again this Sunday, and we're looking forward to it.
That's awesome. Well, this Sunday, it's interesting. The Indianapolis Colts, the 2018 Apple Cup, 16th ranked Washington against 7th ranked Washington State. The two quarterbacks, Jake Browning and Gardner Minshew. And Jake's Washington Huskies beat Washington State 28-15. So those two guys have gone against each other at the collegiate level in 2018 in a big football game, in a big matchup, and here they go again in the National Football League. It's kind of ironic.
Yeah, as I said, that's a huge rivalry. And the one thing, if you check the history of those two schools, there's great quarterbacks at both of them. When I was coaching there, we had Mark Rippon, Jack Thompson was there when I first got there. He was just wrapping up his career. Tim Rosenbaugh with the Cardinals, and you can look on the other side, and there's all kind of quarterbacks for the Huskies too. Drew Bledsoe, certainly from Washington State. So, but that's a big rivalry, and I'm sure those guys will look forward to it. The other kind of tidbit of information, one of my best friends in coaching is Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator for the Colts. We coached together. I was the defensive coordinator, and he was a linebacker coach when we were at North Dakota State. Long story how he I helped him get into the NFL, and he's been awesome as a head coach and a linebacker coach, and then defensive coordinator. But we stay in touch. He watched Joe as a little boy there in Fargo for a couple of years, and some of his kids were similar age. So I'm hoping to get a chance to see him either Saturday night or Sunday.
Well, I'll tell you, Gus Bradley now, he can get it done. His team defense has 42 quarterback sacks, second most in the NFL. They're sixth in sack per pass attempt. There have been 254 yards and losses on those quarterback sacks. So hidden yards, I mean, that's fourth most in the National Football League, all those yards that have been lost. And he's got 4 different players with 5.5 sacks or more. So, I mean, it's not just a guy. He's creating pressure packages and getting guys, in matchups that he wants, and he can get it done. You're right. That guy is a very talented defensive mind, isn't he?
He's one of the best there is, and a lot of experience. We had a fun couple of years at North Dakota State, and then I came to Ohio University, and he took over the coordinator job. And my relationship with Monty Kiffin, I'd played for him at Nebraska, and he was kind of looking for a quality control guy at Tampa, and called me about another guy, and I said, the guy you should hire is Gus Bradley, and because we were running the same defense as Coach Kiffin, the Tampa 2 and all that, and so I hooked him up with Coach Kiffin, and the rest is history. But he's such a good person and a great coach. I always root for the Colts in case it affects unless it affects where they are in the standings with the Bengals, and looking forward to watching how he defends Zach and the offense, and as I said, hoping I can get a chance to see him.
Well, it's we've talked about it before when Joe's had incurred injury, and it's sad because he was in such great shape. I mean, he was playing at such a high level in such great shape, and man, this to be taken away from him like it was is sad, really. But man, I know he's going to attack the rehab, and he'll be throwing. What are they figuring? Maybe April he'll be able to throw a little bit, or is that a little early, Jimmy?
Really, I don't know. I'm sure that in Joe's mind is a good starting place, but I don't think anybody really knows for sure. You get the get the bandage off here in a couple weeks, and I'm re-X-ray it, do all the things, MRI and all that to see where they are. But I have seen the plan for each week, each month, and so I'd say they're hoping for that. But it's pretty well organized and documented how they want to process this rehabilitation. So I'm confident that it's going to go good.
Well, I'm sure he'll attack rehab like he attacks everything, and he'll be an all-pro, multiple-time Pro Bowler rehab guy. There's no question about that.
Well, he takes it seriously, just like he does if he were playing. He takes the rehab seriously, and I will say that Matt Summers over there and the training staff for the Bengals are awesome. You know, they know what they're doing and how they're going to do things. So we couldn't be any happier with the way they've been over the years and continue to be. And they're going to be by Joe's side every step of the way.
Jimmy, as always, appreciate your carving time for us. And again, happy holidays. Enjoy them with family and friends, sir.
All right. Happy holidays. Go Bengals, and let's get another one on Sunday.
Thanks, Jimmy.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realized self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.